I'm sure you've heard the news, but not like this. Get ready to dive into what's happening in the world of MMA. We're your go-to spot for fight night predictions, fighter interviews, and all the behind-the-scenes action you crave. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. Give it up for your host, the one and only Panda.
What's up, everybody? Richard from PandaMMANews.
What's up, guys? It's Taylor, Big Poppy.
Big Poppy. All right, Big Poppy. Well, let's start by recapping this recap for UFC Saudi Arabia. So, I mean, really, the only three worth recapping is Johnny Walker taking a little nappy nap on the job, you know, getting paid to sleep.
I think we all knew that it was going to end in the first round, and either Walker was going to walk away with it, or he was going to get knocked out, and that chin got tested again, and guess what? He went to sleep.
Well, he didn't walk away with it, but he definitely got carried away with it.
He got carried away, and ultimately it was a long flight to take a nice nap in the desert.
You could say he fucked around and found out.
He fucked around, he found out, and guess what? I'll just say this, but I gotta say it's really nice to have the fights like really early in the morning.
Oh, definitely, I agree with that. Then I'm not too drunk by the time the main event comes around, and that's the real point.
When those garage sodas are hitting good, and you got the barbecue going, and got the fights in the background, it's always nice.
Well, all right. Well, the next one would be the co-main, which the only reason why we're mentioning this is just because it was a heavyweight fucking fight, and it was the most boring fight on the goddamn fucking card.
Yeah, we're talking more about a co-main here because we're talking about two Russians that I expected a lot more out of, especially with Palovich. We're going to butcher some names here, guys. You gotta just bear with me.
We're white.
Check the killer.
But, yeah, no. I expected way more, and here's the thing. Pavlovich, Sergey, I'm just going to call him Sergey, make it easy.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Sergey wanted a rematch with Tom Aspinall, but yet he went out there against a guy that Tom Aspinall took down in, 40 seconds and submitted and made it look easy. And he had a 3-round kickboxing fucking point fighting match where the guy that he was supposed to knock out, who he supposedly almost knocked out every fucking training session they had together, he virtually just looked like he was on the receiving end of a major ass whooping.
I'll be honest. Going into this thing, I really did think that Sergio was going to have the...
Sergio? Who the fuck is Sergio? By the way, bring the mic up to your face.
Wow.
Wow.
Epic failure. No, but seriously, I really did think going into that fight that he was gonna have an easy night in the office because, I mean, let's just face it. His opponents really just hasn't had a long winning streak. I mean, he's been getting handled these last couple fights.
I'm just confused with the Sergio thing. Were you thinking about your lawnmower, your fucking your lawn guy? Is that what you're thinking of when you think of Sergey?
No, but if anybody could find me one, that'd be great. Because my house is looking pretty trashed.
Jamestown, California. Anyways,
hey, in case you guys didn't know yet, we're a couple Valley guys.
209, son. But yeah, so that co-main sucked dick. But the main event though,
dude,
Whitaker, which I've been saying from day one when it was Chimaev fighting Whitaker was going to go out there, and if it went past the first round, it was going to look easy after the first round when Chimaev tired himself out.
How crazy is that Whitaker and Hamzat finished this guy in the exact same fashion with that uppercut?
It makes me wish we would have seen that fight even more now, just to see the differences in striking since they had the exact same finish.
Yeah. That was the big upset in all this, is really just not getting Hamzat on the card. I think that brought the quality of the card down pretty quick.
Yeah, for sure. Just real quick, make sure you're keeping it about a fist away. You're about a baby's arm away. No. Grab him by the arm and pull it. There you go. And then you can face it up.
Pull my finger.
There you go. Look at that, pal. Here, let Daddy help you. There you go.
I'm telling you, Princess.
It doesn't want to go down. Never mind. It don't like you.
I was fucking with it for a while.
Well, fucking scoot in. How about that? There we go, pal. Look at that. Look at that. Now you're where you should be. What, are we making music now? But, yeah, so anyways, Whitaker fucking flawless victory, which I thought. I think the next fight should be Whitaker versus Sean Strickland for a title eliminator. Whoever wins between DDP and Izzy.
So, I mean, that's our thoughts on it. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comment section.
Or don't.
Or don't.
Either way.
Keep the bullshit to yourself. Either way, if you want to throw down, let's hear it. If not, keep it to yourself.
Yeah, if you come in with that Robert Whitaker slander, though, we're going to ban you. We don't like that shit.
But if you come into the comment section, you better say it with your chest.
Say it with the chest, not with your little fucking, not with the little tampon you keep in your purse. We don't want to hear from that. But, yeah, so we're going to run through some upcoming fights. I mean, we're really just going to touch on the main card. The thing I will say about the rest of the card is it is an absolute insult to our boy Ricky Simone for him to be opening up the card. He should be, if not on the main card, he should be closing out one of these prelim cards. Him being the first fight of the night is disrespectful.
Has Ricky ever not brought it and had a boring fight? I can't remember.
Yeah, when he fought Song Yadong, that was kind of boring. But, I mean, that has to do with both fighters. That's not just Ricky.
I'm gonna rule that as a stylistic matchup.
Yeah.
I don't think that's just Ricky going out being a boring fighter. I think that he definitely doesn't deserve to be the opening fight in the early prelims. I think if we were gonna switch it around, you throw even Charles and Gene, you throw them as the early prelims. You start them out in the fights.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, in reality, you know, in the great words of Brendan Schaub, fuck my mouth. We have Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chazon and in the main card, but we have Ricky Simone opening the fucking prelims. That makes no sense to me at all.
Why is this?
Well, why is this, brother? Why is this? We have one sheep in village.
No, but in all seriousness, I just don't understand how that sneaks its way into the main card. I would rather even see you put Joe Pyfer, put him in that slot, and put Mayra and Macy as the last fight on the prelims. I think that makes
I'd rather see a drunk fight in the crowd on the main card over fucking Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chazon, which is no disrespect to those ladies. They are badass fighters, but look at the entire card. There is no reason why they should be on the main card over anyone else on this entire card. Michelle Gomez, Karate Hottie, deserves to be on the main card more than those two, in my opinion. She has put more work in. She's been with the UFC longer. She's main evented more fights. I think she should be on the main card before Mayra Bueno Silva and Macy Chazon.
Yeah, I agree. And Mayra coming off a loss, I'm expecting to see her come out aggressive. Both these girls, I mean, you know, it's gonna be two alligators rolling around on the mat. I mean, honestly,
Two gators.
Two gators. It's gonna be a gator roll.
Just don't put something in their mouth; they might snap it off. But I mean, well, yeah, I guess she is coming off a loss, and Macy Chazon's coming off a win. But I mean, Macy Chazon also has the stand-up of a newborn baby. She dips with her head. She looks like a drunk Justin Gaethje, which is saying a lot considering he leads with his head almost every fight.
She resembles two Justins because she kind of looks like Bieber too, so it's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
It's a little off-putting. It almost makes me wonder if they successfully got the first transgender to make their way into the women's MMA.
Well, what we can say, though, is that the UFC is inclusive by including her in the main card. You know, they are inclusive.
Shout out, Dana. Good job there. You're just including
Dana,
everybody.
you got a bisexual name. You decided to include some bisexuality and transsexuality in the main card, and we do appreciate that, Dana.
Equal rights and lefts.
Yeah, equal rights and lefts.
Always been Dana's motto.
Yeah.
That's why we love the guy.
I mean, ask any of my ex-significant others. They will all tell you equal rights and lefts.
And
That's just the
lefts.
way it works, you know. That's just what's fair.
That's the rule of the world.
But
That's what we all wanted.
Let's get into this main fight card. Once again, another little fucking twister on here. Opening up the main fight card is Ian the Future Gary versus Michael Venom Page. How the fuck that is opening up the card before fucking Mayra and Macy is beyond me. That is far beyond me.
Yeah, again, that makes no sense to me either. I'm going to just say this about Ian. I'm super stoked to see him fight somebody like MVP. MVP coming into the UFC, I was watching him in Bellator, and I just thought that there was a lot of cool matchups to be done in the UFC, so I'm so happy that they were able to make that work out. I'm super pumped for that fight. I think it's going to be a stand-up banger. I'm excited to see how Ian handles MVP coming in and out, and how he handles the distance and the range. But we got an undefeated, young, hungry Gary who's trying to prove himself. And let's just be honest, his fight against what do you say? His
Jeff
name?
Neal.
Jeff Neal. It was lacking. And
Well,
all that shit he talked on the internet, I really expected him to bring it.
Well, let's just keep in mind, he sat out on the outside and watched Jeff Neal, just like the accusations with him in the bedroom. So, I mean, it wasn't too far off. But here's the thing. Here's where it really gets sticky. They're both counter fighters. This could make out for a really boring fight, because what if they just sit on the outside and they just stare at each other while they're just feinting and flinching at each other? That makes for 15 minutes of might beat my dog.
Yeah, I really hope that that's not the case. Ian, you had a boring fight last fight. We were expecting a lot more from you. Give it to your fans. We're waiting for it. We want to see you be explosive. And I think you got what it takes, dude. But you've got a tough task ahead of you with Michael.
Yeah, dude. Treat this fight like a fight and not like your sex life. We don't want to see you sitting on the outside and watching.
Yeah.
But
Nobody puts Ian in the corner. Okay?
Yeah, well, except for your wife. But don't. If you see us, don't come at us, please. But yeah, I mean, virtually that's what I see. I'm really hoping that we get a similar fight to what we got with Kevin Holland. I'm hoping MVP State is able to hit fucking Ian Gary with those spinning elbows. I'm hoping he just pieces him apart. I'm hoping we get rid of this Gary shit. Gary's fucking way out here, and MVP is moving into the mix.
So another thing that I see being on Ian's advantage here is, and he hasn't got to display this much yet, but he trains with Charles Oliveira. He's got a ground game. He's actually a black belt with judo, and he hasn't got to show that yet because he's always trying to go for those highlight reel knockout finishes. So this might be one of those opportunities where he might find Michael backing up and get him into the cage, and we might see a grappling scenario, maybe some ground and pound out of Ian.
Well, not only does he train with Charles Oliveira, he's been training in Brazil for a couple of years now, trying to spruce up his Brazilian jiu-jitsu game. But so far we have yet to see any of that. I don't know if maybe there's a video where he stops watching in the corner and he decides to pitch in and show some of that ground and pound. But so far we have yet to see anything.
You know, with MVP coming off of a win, a decision over Kevin Holland, I was impressed. I actually didn't think MVP was going to come out the victor in that fight, and it actually was looking really one-sided, and he really frustrated Kevin in that fight, and I didn't expect that at all. And as a fan, I was taken away, and it really got me excited for these future matchups. So, undefeated in the UFC, he's undefeated. We'll see if he can keep that.
I mean,
one of these guys isn't going to be undefeated in the UFC after next weekend. That's all I can say.
He's almost undefeated in MMA, period. He's only got 2 losses on his record, and those 2 losses are to one of the best. Diego Lima, it was Lima, right? Diego Lima?
I think so.
Yeah. He's the one that knocked out MVP. But he was one of the best, and he was also a champion in Bellator. But
so MVP, though, this is just a thought I'm having. You know, he's 37.
Yeah.
He's getting up there in age, and in his career, I think that, you know, if he wins this fight against the future Ian Gary, I think he's got to look immediately to.
He wants Usman. He said if he wins this, he wants Usman next.
I think that's the best matchup for him. Is you go Usman, and then if he wins that, he's next up for a fight, because otherwise he doesn't have a lot of time here. You know, getting there in age. I'm not discounting MVP. You know, there's guys like Glover who are, you know, making it happen and showing that it can be done. So not to say it can't, but he's definitely fighting against time right now.
Yeah, but we'll get to who we got at the very end of the show. We're gonna have a little segment where we bet on the fights, and we'll tell you who we got then. But next one on the card is what's also known as the P-break fight. It's Mayra Bueno Silva versus Macy Chiasson. So Mayra is 10-3. Her last fight, she lost a decision to Raquel Pennington. She's won 3 out of her last 5 fights. But
let's just face it, dude. That is a shitty division.
I mean, I'm not sexist, but women MMA in general sucks. It should be different fight cards. You should not have women's MMA mixing with men's MMA, in my opinion. I think it should be completely separate.
Like the NBA.
Like the NBA. That way I have the choice to not tune in. You know? I have the choice to see that on ESPN Plus, and I say, no, I don't want to watch that. I'd rather watch The View.
Unless you're Cyborg, Amanda Nunes,
Whaley.
Yep.
That's it.
And that's pretty much the list.
Macy Barber, if you want something nice to look at.
Ronda right out the gate before she got figured out.
When she was fighting crackheads.
Holly Holm.
Is boring.
I'll give her that. No.
She's been boring the last 3 years.
It's not boring when she roundhouse kicks a bad boy in the face.
Yeah, well, that was also over 3 years ago. I said the past 3 years. But yeah. I mean, virtually that's all the analysts I have to give about this fight because I probably won't watch it. I'll probably be in the bathroom or I'll be on a little break.
I think that's a great time to go grab yourself a garage soda.
Yeah. I might go start a fight with the neighbors so I can see a real fight. You know? I haven't decided yet.
I like that. I'll be Herb Dean.
There you go. You can let the fight go on slightly too long.
Well,
on the next fight, though.
Moving right on because not much to say on
Not much to say on that last one. But on the next one, though, we have a fight that's been remade 4 fucking times now. First, it was Jamal Hill versus Khalil Roundtree. Then it was Jamal Hill versus Olberg. Then it was Anthony Smith versus Olberg. Now, the final fight so far, as of this recording of this podcast, 6:22 at 5:49 p.m., it's Anthony Smith versus Roman Dolidze.
Lionheart versus the Caucasian.
Yeah. I don't have much to comment on that, otherwise I'll get canceled. But but you know,
how do you see this playing out?
I have to side with Smith just because of the fact that Roman Dolidze is moving up from middleweight. He's not a light heavyweight. I don't think he's had a fight at light heavyweight. In fact, before I make that abundantly clear, I'm going to do a Google search. So go ahead and give me your opinion on it.
You know, I'll be honest. I don't really know much about Anthony's opponent. I'm going to favor Anthony in this just because, you know, he had an impressive submission win over Vitor, and he's just an old – I mean, not that he's old, but he's just an old dog, you know, and he doesn't give up.
He looked good in his last fight.
That guillotine was nasty.
He looked good.
You know, 3 out of his last 5 he won. Sorry, lost 3 out of his last 5.
Yeah, so from what I'm seeing, he hasn't had Roman Dolidze has not had a fight at light heavyweight yet. So, I mean, just based off that, it's a whole new weight division. I don't think he's going to be used to dealing with people that have the kind of power Anthony Smith would have, 6'4", you know, used to fighting at 205 pounds. Anthony Smith, you know, obviously he used to be a middleweight, but he hasn't been a middleweight in quite some time. And Anthony Smith did make it to the point where he fought John Jones. So he's definitely got some talent.
He's fought the best of the best. He's been up there for a long time.
I mean, we're talking 38-19.
38. I was just gonna say that 38-19. The boy's been in the cage a few times. I think he's gonna feel really comfortable in there.
I mean, he's Django Unchained in there.
You know,
Anthony Smith is part black. He's Django Unchained.
Yeah.
He's finally out of the cage. And he's getting retribution.
He's about to get back in the cage next weekend.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
And that's because of Dana White, another white man, not us.
But you know, Smith he trains heavy kickboxing, but he's also a black belt in jiu-jitsu, so he's pretty much a professional. He's well-rounded in all aspects. So, my heart says Anthony Smith on this one.
And you know what? And just to
but I will say, Anthony, dude, you don't want Alex.
I was about to say, to touch on this.
You don't want
Anthony
Alex,
Smith. From what I read,
maybe when you were younger.
Anthony Smith did come out and say that they were trying to make Anthony Smith versus Alex Pereira for UFC 303. Obviously, it went another way. It went with Jiri Prochazka, but they were trying to make that fight, and I just don't think that's a good idea for Anthony. I think that's going to take years off his career, which he's 35. He's almost 36. He's already edging to the edge of the career. We don't need to take even more years off by putting him in there with Poatan. I just don't think that's a good idea at all.
Unless your sole motivation for getting in that cage is to grab that belt, then it really doesn't make a lot of sense.
Well, that is his sole motivation. That's all he wants to do is grab the belt. But, I mean, just maybe wait for him to lose. and then go out against whoever beat him. I think that's better for your brain cells, you know? Like if Jiri beats him, Jiri has a lot more openings to capitalize on versus Alex Pereira. Yeah.
Yeah, test the waters, but God, I don't know, man. I think this time around, Jiri and Alex, I know we're getting a little bit off subject here, but I think Yuri's got the better chance this time than he did last time because Alex hasn't had enough time to really prepare for his stylistic matchup.
I agree. And I'll get, at the very end, I'll get to who I'm actually betting on for that fight. Pretty excited for it. But rolling out of that one, we're going to roll into our co-main event for the evening, which is Brian T. City Ortega versus Diego Lopez.
Okay, this fight's going to be fucking fire.
Well, real quick before we touch on this, Brian Ortega did come out and say this is his last fight at featherweight, win or lose. He's moving up to lightweight after this.
Okay. I respect that, honestly. But this last fight right there, it's going to be a challenge for sure.
Yeah, Diego Lopez is a fucking monster.
He not only is he a monster, but he brings it every single fight.
He's just as good on the ground as Ortega and arguably more aggressive on the feet from what we've seen so far.
I can't recall from memory, has he ever been challenged in the way like Brian, like the adversity he's had to
Well, I'm going to say yes because he has 6 losses. So I'm going to say he has been challenged.
But I'm saying adversity where he came out to be the victor. You know, when you look at fights like Brian's been in where he's gone through hell and then found a way to win.
Well, I mean, wasn't Sadiq Yusuf a challenge? Let's see what round that ended in because I don't recall. Diego Lopez versus Sadiq Yusuf. See what round this ended in. I know it's TKO, but okay, round 1. So no adversity there at all. That was probably the easiest fight of his career. All right, ignore what I just said about that part.
So that'll be interesting because we all know that Brian's a dog. Like, if he brings Diego into deep water, if he can hurt him early or compromise his abilities early on in the fight, I'm really curious to see how Diego responds. I think he's got that dog in him. I think he's like a platinum Perry with that. I think he's got that dog in him, but you know, Brian's he's gonna pull that out of him. Otherwise, you could see something interesting where maybe Diego just starches him. I don't see.
Well, I mean Diego has more KOs on his record than Ortega, and also he has a higher striking percentage.
That's
so
right.
It is definitely possibility for Ortega to get fucking starched here.
Dude, I thought Yair would have done it. Just because of how unorthodox he is?
I mean, there was a possibility, but I mean, the way the first fight went, obviously, you had that fucking nasty arm blowout, which, in my opinion, is still a win for Yair because it was Yair's attempted armbar that caused that arm blowout. So, in my book, that's still a win for Yair. But no, on the feet, I kind of knew that after what Max Holloway did to Ortega, I don't think Ortega really is going to let anyone else do that to him. Max Holloway took a break from fighting Ortega to show him how to defend boxing.
Well, we all know Holloway's a really fucking...
The BMF.
He's the BMF.
Which, speaking of Holloway, to touch on this real quick before we move on to the next, I don't know if you've seen Michael Chandler's tweets, but he's hinting at a BMF title with Holloway. The past 2 tweets he sent out, they worded up to be BMF abbreviated. Blessed Man Forever, BMF. And then there was another one, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it came out to BMF also. So he's hinting at Max Holloway, which honestly, I think, here's the thing.
Max wins that fight, but Chandler, the reason why I say that is...
Max does win that fight, I agree.
Because Max isn't going to get tired. And he can take a hit, and he's going to weather Chandler. The thing about Chandler is, no disrespect to you, Chandler. I actually love you as a person. I really do. I respect.
I love you as a fighter too. You're a dog.
I respect the hell out of you, and you're another person that came from Bellator that I was extremely excited to see with the matchups you can make with the UFC. That being said, in your last fights, I've watched you kind of deplete because of you're really muscly and
also you put your hands down and say, "Come on, hit me."
Yeah,
I mean that right there.
But,
against Justin Gaethje.
But goddamn, if you could just maybe feel your fighter out in the first round. I'm not a professional fighter.
Maybe shoot a fucking takedown. I don't know.
Maybe you're a fucking wrestler.
Yeah,
dude.
you're a Division I wrestler. But what the fuck do I know? I'm just a fat fuck talking about you.
Hey, we're just passionate about it, but when I'm watching you, I'm always thinking, man, if Chandler would just be a little bit more calculated round 1 and just feel out and get his range right, and then come in round 2 just to buy yourself a little bit of time so to unload that tank. I don't think anybody stops you. But Holloway,
aside from Dustin,
but what I mean by that is, like, you know, you fight somebody like Max Holloway, he's not going to get tired. He's going to take you into the deep end, and he's really good with his range.
and clearly he has power since he knocked Gaethje clean out.
If you're not able to get a hold of a guy like that and get him down and try to drain him because he's not used to the ground aspect of it, because people have a hard time getting a hold of him.
Yeah, but Volkanovski also took him down. He still wasn't necessarily tired when he got back up.
True. What do you do, guys? I don't know. Max is a freak.
I got Max on that 100%. I'm not saying Max can beat everyone in lightweight, but I am saying maybe give him a fucking title shot because he might be able to.
I'd also love to see Volkanovski and Holloway run it back again.
I would, but I would like to see Volkanovski grab the belt and then they run it back. I don't want to see that fight without a belt. I think that fight deserves 5 rounds.
Not even a BMF belt?
Maybe, but I mean, for Max Holloway.
Hey, let's face it, dude. Volkanovski's a fucking BMF. He's definitely worth.
Yeah, but I mean, for Max Holloway though,
who else is going to take a short notice fight against Islam?
I mean, they were actually talking about him stepping up last minute against Chandler. He actually said he received the call and he said yes.
And that doesn't surprise me at all.
No, it doesn't. What's crazy though is the fact that he's coming off 2 KO losses, one to Islam and one to Poirier, and then he's going to go take on another heavy hitter and Michael Chandler, which has plenty of power to knock him out if it lands. But anyways, we're not here to talk about that. We got on a little tangent there, but
we are at the same time.
Yeah. But anyways, so
super pumped for this one.
Again, I'm not going to get into who I have yet until the end segment when we do our betting segment. But it's going to be a good fight. And honestly, in my opinion, this might be fight of the night.
Dude, I could also see the first fight on the early prelims ending up being fight of the night too.
What, Pfeiffer?
Early prelims.
You're talking about Ricky Simone.
I could see that ended up being a fight of the night.
I can see Ricky Simone going in there because he did express on Instagram that he feels disrespected by being the first fight on the prelims. So I could see him going in there with a chip on his shoulder and going to prove a point for sure. I could see that.
All I could say is fucking stay tuned because that's going to be sick.
Yep. But
and if I'm wrong, call it out in the comments. Go for it.
But
Call
yeah,
us a bunch of idiots.
But we're gonna move on to the main event here. So, main event, we have
the meat and potatoes.
We have Alex Poatan Pereira versus Jiri BJP Prochazka,
aka the man who saves cards,
aka the man bun that fights back,
aka that's Jiri.
That's what I'm saying. The man that fights back.
Yeah. But dude, Alex, ever since he's came into the UFC, he has became the face of the UFC.
100%. Alex has quickly became one of my favorite fighters just based on the fact that Conor McGregor pulled that over a fucking broken toe. Alex Pereira main evented 300 on short notice with 2 broken toes.
And doubled down on the broken toes.
And now he's coming back again 2 months later to main event again for Conor McGregor, who had a broken toe, and he's main eventing with 2 broken toes again. Again.
Fucking animal.
Like, fuck, man.
I don't know, man. I'd hate to see this one end so early because that was how it left me on the first matchup with these guys.
But Jiri at the end of the first one, he even said that it was a good stoppage. He said that he was unconscious.
I didn't mean early like an early stoppage. I meant the fight just ended.
Well, yeah, but a lot of people were complaining that it was an early stoppage because the left hook dropped Jiri, and then I think it was Herb Dean jumped right in.
You could tell when.
Yeah,
you could tell
and
when
he admitted
fell
it
forward.
too. So
yeah, he was out, and like you said, he admitted it. But my thing is, I would have loved to see it go into the later rounds.
Oh, I agree 100%. I'd love to see how they do. I mean, obviously, Alex, his style is like tailored for long fights. He's not a bouncy fighter. He's very flat-footed. He's very high guard up until he's in the pocket. When he's in the pocket, he drops his hands majorly and leaves his chin up. That's what happened with him and Izzy. But for the most part, flat-footed, high guard, just nonstop calf kicks. His style isn't a cardio depleting style as long as he gets to fight his fight.
I do, but I don't want to feel one of those calf kicks because
I don't at all.
I'm just curious.
I have no intrigue. I have no intrigue to feel a calf kick.
Like, I'm sure I wouldn't walk.
I don't even want him to look in my direction. How about that?
Seriously though, he's got, and he doesn't even show it. It's insane the way he throws it out there.
Yeah, he throws it and it lands with like the inside of his ankle. It's not even like the shin where you would normally want it in Muay Thai. It's the outside of the ankle. And just FYI, when I'm talking about Muay Thai, I know a lot of people are going to see a fat fuck who probably doesn't know shit about Muay Thai. I've been training Muay Thai for 7 years, so fuck all you people. I can probably kick most of your asses. I'm just going to throw that out there.
He's actually, the reason why it's Panda MMA News, it's because this fucker is the flexible guy. Like, you have no idea. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I probably shouldn't go there.
We don't need to go nethery route and throw legs over heads and everything.
Just saying, he probably could, though.
Let's just say a motherfucker gets stacked and ain't going to affect him.
There's something called fuck around and find out, and if you're judging books by the cover, I feel sorry for you.
I feel sorry for you too because I can't read.
That's why we just leave it at the cover.
That's why we just leave it at the cover. We leave it at the big picture on the very beginning of the book.
But when you get beyond the cover, I kind of wonder, do you think Yuri's going to bring his hands up a little bit more coming into this fight? Do you think he'll bring on
I think Yuri's going to be more careful. Yuri's also probably going to look out more for those leg kicks, but his stance, dude, he's got like that Conor McGregor karate stance where he's just hands down and he's got a really bladed stance. So his left foot, the toe is facing the outside of the cage instead of facing his opponent. So that makes it so he can't check kicks properly, and that leaves that calf wide open for Alex's deadly fucking leg kick, which is what happened in the first fight. He got leg kicked to fucking hell.
But you know what happens, like, we've seen it with Conor McGregor when he adjusted to a boxing stance. It totally ruins the style.
Well, it's same thing with Conor. When he adjusted,
it bogged him down.
Yeah, guys like that though, it's just weird, man. Because like if you're used to being a bouncy fighter, you really got to be more of a flat-footed fighter in order to be able to check leg kicks like really effectively.
Obviously,
you got to have more weight in the back leg.
Yeah. Obviously, it's totally different when you're actually in that cage. We're speaking from a fan perspective, like watching these fights. But it's so crazy. Yuri must have this aura about him that you don't see watching through the lens of the camera when you're watching these fights. Because how does a man get to that high of a level against even like somebody like Alex? If your hands are down like that and somebody has such a brutal left hook, I just don't understand how he doesn't go to sleep in the first 10 seconds. He's got to have a phenomenal ability to like gauge his opponent's distance, and there's just something we're not seeing, and there's an energy he's got to be carrying about him inside of that cage. That's the only thing that I can think of, because I don't know. How do you feel about that? Because when I watch Yuri, I'm like, dude, how does he get away with that? I just don't. I mean,
he really gets away with it because he's too fast. He's too fast. He's in and out. He's almost a Robert Whittaker, but with his hands down. He's really good at getting out and blitzing in before he's able to get countered. I mean, here's the thing though. Also, I'm kind of bringing up nothing off nothing, but when he fought Dominic Reyes, he almost went to sleep off an up kick because he's so not caring about what's coming back in his direction. He's more concerned with offense than he is with defense. That is his defense, is offense.
Essentially, yeah. But that's where somebody like Yuri, when people start to figure out the patterns, you think about somebody like John Jones, greatest of all time.
Yeah.
And how he's been a student of film.
Until he's watching Tom Aspinall's film and trying to say that Tom Aspinall got pieced up by Curtis Blades, which clearly, if you slow down that footage, he did not get pieced up. He got one fucking punch landed on him.
Didn't get touched, man.
But we won't talk about how Tom Aspinall could beat the shit out of John Jones. We won't bring that up because I don't want to deal with all the crybaby John Jones fans.
Also, we don't want John Jones coming and find us because I know he's over there in New Mexico, and that's not too far from us.
Hey, dude. I got Tom Aspinall on speed dial.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I wish.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Hey, Tom, dude, we love it.
Hey, Tom, come protect me.
Come protect us, bro. I think if you want that fight, we can figure out a way.
We'll change his name to Tom Aspinall MMA News.
Just for you, pal.
Just for you, as long as you don't hurt me either.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm excited to see that one.
And don't give any pics here because, like I said, we're gonna give it at the end.
No. I'm not there yet, but you guys will know soon enough.
Yeah. So we got it down in the notes that we're going to talk about current events, then close out the show with the Money Down segment, which is our betting segment where we get picks. But we're actually going to flip that around just because it makes more sense. So let's go ahead and let's grab that sheet that we got, and let's put our picks down and give them out. All right, guys. Now's the portion of the show where we're going to give you picks, but we got a little fun segment of the show. We got this idea from the John Anik podcast, Anik Florian podcast. Pretty much each week we're going to start out with $2,000 to bet, and whatever you win off this figmental $2,000 is going to carry over into the following weeks. If you lose your ass, you get the $2,000 to start over with again.
Mo money, mo problems.
Mo money,
and
mo
that's
problems.
That's the idea. We want to make sure we're anybody following us is making money, so you can have some nice things and go to some fights and not look like bums.
That, or if you guys are good at making picks, send your fucking picks in. Let's
yeah, or help us make money. Fuck.
Yeah, help us make money, dude. I can't afford my rent, so let's get that going, huh?
Yeah.
Tough guys. So let's go ahead and start with you.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm pretty straightforward here. So I'm gonna
Let's go straights first, and then we'll go parlays after.
100%, dog. So the idea is I'm putting 500 down on Alex, and
which will win you how much?
$312.
Okay, so total after payout, he'll get $812.50. That'll include the $500 he put down.
My other straight bet's gonna be MVP, putting 300 on him. The win for that's gonna be 330, so I'll be up $630 there.
No diddy.
No diddly dog. And then I'm gonna do a triple parlay. Brian, Anthony, and Myra, putting 1,200 down. I'm going hard in the paint on this one because 1,200, if it hits, we're getting $9,146, boys.
And just
girls.
to cover for you guys who don't know what a parlay is, he's doing a triple parlay. So if one person fails that parlay, he wins nothing. All three of his picks have to hit.
If all the stars align, guess what? We're fucking winning big, and you guys are gonna think I'm the top dog.
We're going to Sizzlers. I stole that from Brendan Schaub too. Fuck you, Schaub.
Hey, Schaub, you're not the only one with a party in the back and a microphone.
Yeah, dude. Just because you flipped your truck doesn't mean you're a tough guy.
Yeah,
but
you should have had an EV.
Yeah, should have had an EV. That way your battery cell can go out and you can realize that you're going to trade in for another car. But so we're going to move on to me now. So my straight, I'm going to go 250 on Anthony Smith. He's a plus 131. That's going to win me $327.
Run that back.
Run what back?
Say that again.
Anthony Smith, he's a plus 131. So I'm betting $250, and I'm going to win $327. So
let's go.
I mean, in total, what is that? $577.
Yeah.
Okay.
Worth your time.
MVP. I'm. Lord forgive me. MMA gods forgive me. I'm betting on the cuck. I'm betting on Ian Gary. Minus 130. I just, as far as straight bets go, I feel like this is the safest bet just based off age difference and the fact that he's undefeated. He already knows what it's like to be under the big lights, on the big stage in the UFC. But my $250 bet for Ian Gary will win me $192. And then I'm doing a three-way parlay with MVP. I'm doing MVP. I'm doing Diego Lopez, and I'm doing Alex Pereira. And I'm doing $500 on that parlay, and that equals out to $2,307.05, ladies and gentlemen.
So we think we know what we're doing here. We'll find
Probably
out
don't.
because we're gonna run this back.
You will hear next week.
On next week, you guys are gonna find out if we won money or not. So.
Yep. So
total transparency here. We might lose our shorts, and we might be telling you guys, "Hey, send your bets because we suck."
Yeah, and for the ones I didn't pick, off the record without any bets in place, I got Myra Silva, even though it doesn't matter because fuck my mouth, they shouldn't be on the main event. But yeah, so that's that for the bet segment. So we're gonna move on to current events. Let's see. So current events. First one we got. Oh, it's actually the bonuses. The bonuses for the event. So we got Where are the bonuses?
Talking about money, this is what we're talking
Dude,
about.
we're talking about the Monet.
Who put their dick on the table.
We're talking about me having to read, brother. We're talking about some real hard shit right now. Okay, so $50,000 checks. They went out to Shara Magomedov, Volkan Ozdemir, and Felipe Lima. Those went out for the... and there's no fight of the night awarded tonight, which is odd. Because there actually were knockouts.
Yeah.
There were actually some good fights tonight. So you would... Robert Whittaker... Well, no. If anything, Robert Whittaker should have got performance. But fight of the night? No, it was before you showed up to watch the fights. It was...
No.
It was Dobby. Dobby was the fight of the night, right?
No, the half-blind ginger was the fight of the night.
No,
in
that
my
was a
opinion.
finish. That wasn't a fight of the night. I'll tell you fight of the night right now. UFC...
I only say that because he deployed his game plan and
He did.
He did a lot of flashy stuff and then ultimately
He did, but it ended in a finish and it was more of one-way traffic than a fight. That's performance of the night. If the fight of the night...
I'm just saying, pay the man.
Oh, no, definitely pay the man. But fight of the night, dude, it has to be... Let's see, where was he? Where the hell was he at? It was
The only other guy I
right
know
here.
that actually successfully
Nicholas
fought
Dobby.
in the UFC with one eye is Michael Bisping.
Well, that... God damn it. I gotta get this guy's name before I speak like a fucking moron. Can't even say this name. I'm just gonna call him Shara Magomedov, which he did get a performance bonus. He was one of the ones that got the 50,000.
Oh, he did? Cool.
Yeah, he even said when he first got in the UFC that Michael Bisping was one of his idols that he looks up to since Michael Bisping won the belt with the one eye.
He's halfway looking up to you.
But fight of the night, in my opinion, I think this should have been awarded out. I watched this fight, and it was one of the best fights I've seen since probably UFC 300. It was... I just had it. Renat Fucker Dinov versus Nicholas Dalby. I thought that was a great fight. That fight was awesome. It was competitive. It was back and forth. I personally, in my brain, I had Dalby winning at the end, but it is what it is. But either way, I think that should have been awarded fight of the night.
Don't leave it to the judges.
Yeah, don't leave it to the judges. But that's the only way to really get fight of the night is to leave it to the judges. Because if you go on and you start your motherfucker, that's just performance. It's not fight. That other guy didn't fight.
True that.
But so our next event, which is Ilia Topuria talking shit to Conor McGregor, calling him a bitch.
Idol turns foe.
So direct tweet. Conor McGregor tweeted out saying, "I will never enter a fight hurt again, and I will never lose another fight." Ilia Topuria tweeted back saying, "You are mentally broken. That is your biggest lesson. You doubt yourself, your abilities, your preparation. That's why you don't show up. You are a bitch." Thoughts?
Well, my first thought is, bro, you literally are a copycat. I respect you in the fact that you've done what you've done so far in the UFC, but don't sit here and act like you wouldn't suck Conor's dick if he threw it in front of your face. Okay?
Oh, dude, he can slap it around on his chin, dude. That thing's getting slurping. That's some slurpage right there.
You know what I mean?
That's some slurpage
at this
there.
point, you're just clickbait, okay? Like, if you were
Don't click your mouse, brother.
I think I think you love him so much, actually, that if you were actually in a cage with Conor, he'd starch you just because you love and look up to him that
We'd
much.
see some real ground and pound.
Yeah. Your wife's probably in his DMs.
Literally. Yeah, I guarantee you your wife is in his DMs. I mean, let's be real here. We've all seen the pictures of McGregor in his little fucking Speedos. That motherfucker's packing heat, dude.
All I know is when
definitely conquered.
When we're talking about red panty night, I think Ilya's wearing the red panties underneath his fight shorts.
Oh, he definitely is. He's wearing bright red panties, and Conor's going to take them off with his teeth. But that moves us into our next current event, which is Paige Van Zandt. She is scheduled to compete at Power Slap 8, which is...
What are we doing?
We'll get to that real quick. Let me just tell you the date. She debuts June 28th, this upcoming Friday, the day before UFC 303. She just fought Ellie Brooke. Went to a decision. It came out to a tie. Ellie Brooke dropped Paige Van Zandt in the fight, which is extremely embarrassing considering Ellie Brooke is a porn star and is not a fighter.
She's used to just dropping her drawers. Now she's dropping Paige Van
Yeah.
Zandt in a boxing ring.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. What
I mean,
are we doing?
they're both how you say it, salutes on the fans of only. You know, that's all I can say about that. But
I don't know if you guys are looking forward.
what
to
I
it,
can say is I
let
can
us
share
know.
I can share this screen a little bit, and I can give you guys a little peek at what we're looking at, which isn't bad. It's not a bad thing to look at, you know. It's really not. So let's go ahead and get a little display capture going, huh? I mean, it's not a bad thing to look at. She looks pretty good there, but she's still a fucking dumb broad that lost to a porn star. But yeah. So that's current events.
She can't take a hit. So what are you gonna what are you gonna go into fucking slap fighting? You can't take a hit. You're gonna go 9-9.
Well,
I don't get it. Do you need money that bad?
All we can say is hopefully, you know, in preparation for this power slap event, that her husband was helping her out a little bit. You know, maybe she didn't do the dishes before he got home. Maybe the house wasn't cleaned properly. Maybe he gave her a little power slap. Maybe her chin's built up for this. You know, you never know.
That's true, Richard. I think they might have been practicing behind the scenes. This could be a build up to what she's really been focusing on, because it obviously wasn't boxing or bare knuckle or UFC. So
I hope that whatever we're building up to is something to build up to. Hopefully it's build up worthy. Hopefully it's just her lathered up in some oil, you know, and she's just slapping down with another decent looking gal. Hopefully we don't get some transvestite looking lady, because we don't want to see
she's
that.
paired up with Starla.
Sell down Napoleon Dynamite.
Forget about it.
But yeah, so I mean that's pretty much all there is for current events. You know, we'd love to get some video questions from you guys. If you guys want to get some questions answered, either comment here on the video or send us a video question to our email at pandarich@PandaMMAnews.com. Make sure you keep it under a minute. We can't have a 10-minute question, otherwise I'm just going to punch my computer screen. And Taylor might go out, and he might put his hand underneath my tire while I put it in reverse.
Or, you know, maybe I'll have road rage and I'll fucking run over a homeless guy. I don't know.
Well, that's more of a plus for people. You're going to get them to not comment and ask questions with those kind of promises. But, yeah, so we hope you guys enjoyed this show. This was episode 1. Make sure you subscribe, like, ring the bell, and follow us on all our social medias. Panda MMA News on X, Panda MMA News 1 on Instagram and TikTok. Follow us on there. Shoot us some messages, and we'd be happy to hear from you guys.
Later, fuckers.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Try not to watch in a corner while you stroke it like Gary.